Dr. Barnes here, board certified psychiatrist, founder of Mindful Medicine. Today we're going to go over mood disorders. I made kind of visual representation of mood disorders to get an overview of them. I call it the egg. We're going to go over it right now. So here we go. Imagine that this line right here represents a stable mood. Okay, so not depressed, not manic, kind of stable. Imagine, let's make it a little longer. Okay, that's what this line represents. Now imagine this line represents depression because it's down. That makes sense, right? So this is depression. Now, let's say this line, that's not as nice as I wanted it to be. Hang on. Let's say this line represents mania because it's elevated. Okay, so let's say this represents mania because it's elevated, right? Now, if you have a mood disorder that gets visually represented like this, from baseline normal, you can drop all the way down to rock bottom. This is what's called major depressive disorder. Okay? So I'll label that like this, MDD we'll say. So that's major depressive disorder. That's like a clinical depression. Now, let's say you have a mood disorder that goes all the way down, just like major depression, but then once, at least, went all the way up. Okay? Meaning you can go all the way down and all the way up. This is labeled bipolar type 1. Meaning you can meet criteria for a major depressive episode, but you can also meet criteria for what's called a manic episode. Now, let's keep going. Let's say you go all the way down, right? And you start going up, but you stop here. Okay, now notice, in this one, you can get a major depressive episode and you can become manic, but not fully manic. So you stop at what's called hypomania. That's what that is called. It's like a lighter version of mania. And what this is bipolar type 2. Characterized by a hypomanic state as opposed to a complete manic state. A lighter version, which has a specific criteria. Let's keep going, okay? There is another thing to know. We're running out of colors here. Should have brought more colors. Another thing to know, there is somebody who doesn't get all the way depressed. And they never go above midline either. And they it's the mirror image of hypomania, but on the other side. And they kind of stay in this area, but long term, longer than major depression. And this has a very specific name also. And this, where can I put it? I'll put it down here, or up here. This is called dysthymia. Also called persistent depressive disorder. They keep changing the name with every DSM. It's annoying. But dysthymia, persistent depressive disorder, meaning they don't get fully depressed, but it does last long term. There's one other thing that can be put in here. Since I'm running out of colors, I'm going to just use, I guess, this one again. One other one here is people who go down to this low dysthymic level, but also hypomanic. I know I'm messing up the graph a little bit. Try to visualize this if you can. Maybe I'll try to make it 2 colors. Okay, so again, people who get as depressed as dysthymia, not fully depressed, and then manic but not fully manic either, and they kind of sit, like in here, so to speak. It's like a combination of dysthymia, part of a dysthymia and part of bipolar 2. And this is called cyclothymia. Run out of places to put that. Let's write it here. Cyclothymia.